Hey people, it's Thursday, the 10th of August. Cheers. Yes, I will share a word or two about the passing of great musicians and artists. You know, this latest group of people who have passed away are all in their 80s, which again illustrates, the clicking up the clock ticking and how rock and roll basically, really was born in essence was born in the 50s, and it had its heyday from my perspective, at my age, in the 60s and the 70s. And so all those great people are aging out. They are. Rodriguez. I don't have the album Cold Fact, and the deal is I do like it. I just listened to it, in light of his passing. But when it was all the popular rage of him being rediscovered, my focus was elsewhere, and so I never bought the album. We heard about Erkin Koray, and then Tristan Hansinger, I think is the name, jazz musician. And then David LaFlamme of It's a Beautiful Day. This is one of my favorite album covers. And both all of the images on this really truly capture that San Francisco vibe of the time, the hippie thing. I was really into what it meant to me in my mind. I'm in Omaha, at that time I had never been to California. So I was only absorbing hippiedom and psychedelia through the media. And so my construct of hippiedom was real positive as opposed to what really happened. Got to see this band. Funny, I was talking to Plaque Blake, Ross Schlesinger, about this online the last couple of days, because the Pershing Auditorium in Lincoln has been demolished, and that was a historic auditorium. Saw a lot of great shows there, including Kraftwerk and this band, It's a Beautiful Day, doing a co-headlining tour with the Doobie Brothers, and of all people, Sylvester opened the show. There was almost a riot. People in Omaha, in Nebraska, weren't ready for a trans a singer on a otherwise straight bill. It was wild. But the big name that folks are lamenting is Robbie Robertson of the band. Rest in peace, he was in his 80s. Now, I don't have any band records anymore. I used to have them, many of them. I inherited them, I didn't buy them. I completely respect Robbie Robertson, the band, and their history, what they did. Interesting how that Canadian Native American, I forget what tribe he is, but along with the rest of the band, kind of helped America rediscover its own roots. I want to share that, when the band put out that album Big Pink, it was like, to me, it was like, why are these people going back into the past? From my perspective, I'm old enough and was so activated as a child to the elders around me that past was still present in many ways, so it didn't fascinate me. I grew up in the church, and my family is full of musicians, and so I grew up with that music: the blues, folk, jazz, country, and gospel. Never liked gospel. I was in the choir. Those kind of chords that they play for gospel music, I don't like them. Never did. Still don't. Even while I was in the choir, I did not like it. And so I'm just explaining, me personally, why I didn't keep the band records, because I don't listen to them. That's not a place I want to be in. But I respect Robbie Robertson, the history of what the band did. I had his solo album, the one where Peter Gabriel does the song Fallen Angel with him. I kept that for a while, then I sold it because that was the only song that I would listen to on it. But I was looking in my discography and I said, surely I have something with Robbie Robertson on it, and I do, a few things. I played this in his honor last night. Court and Spark by Joni Mitchell. Love this album, but interestingly, and not too surprisingly, the song that Robbie Robertson plays on is the one that I always skip over, Raised on Robbery. It's this old, she's doing kind of a rock and roll thing, and in order to get it right, she got Robbie to play guitar on it. He was an extremely good guitarist. And due to his history and how he started playing, he had his roots down. He knew that book. It's like there are these books of ways of playing, phrases, stuff that's passed down, from musician to musician, and he learned all that stuff. I, as a kid, when I first started taking up instruments, especially the guitar and the bass, I really didn't have any interest in learning those licks or the blues. As I started to learn how to play lead, I wasn't interested in blues licks, and this all comes up because of talking about Robbie. Mad respect for what he did. Great respect. Never got to see the band. Rest in peace, all those people. And unfortunately, there's more to go because we're all on our way out. Especially once you get to a certain age. The Congresswoman is Feinstein. They've really, the media is so manipulative. They've really been showing that one particular picture of her after she had the fall yesterday or the day before. I would agree that it's time for her to retire. Seems like she's, still in that position because of power as opposed to really being functional. It's time for her to go home and rest. So to keep going on music, like I said, much respect for these musicians who have passed. But I'd love to tell you what I'm about. And so, Grapefruit, I got in a special order for me because I don't like to order online. I asked him, can you get the Jon Hassell? Jon Hassell is someone who passed away not that long ago. He is an example of a musician that is in my wheelhouse. Comes from a background of experimental work, studied with Lamont Young, if I understand correctly, and really helped to create ambient music. But he called what his music fourth world music, and his music sounds like no other. There have been 2 posthumous releases of his, and I got them yesterday. This is my territory. This is where I want to go, as opposed to back to down to the muddy banks of the Mississippi River, or pretend that I'm on a steamboat back in the good old days. No, not at all. I'm looking for a new world, a different world, one that unfortunately doesn't really exist. Jon Hassell's music is a perfect example of the type of sound that really appeals to me. The Living City. This is a live recording. Both of the records, I'm going to show the other one. I got them both. These are recordings from a 1989 exhibit that Eno had in New York at a particular building where they would have concerts. And that's what this album and this one too, both of these are from that series of performances. Psychogeography and The Living City. Just got these yesterday on his the label that he started before he passed away, Indea. This is wonderful work, and it's this is the sort of thing I like to get lost in. It's a sound unto itself. His horn playing is like no other. His trumpet playing, sometimes it's similar to an elephant braying. And other times it's like a sound we've never heard before. So I got those yesterday. And that's the shit that really turns me on. In sharing in the music groups on Facebook, which I do enjoy a lot, I shared in my post about Robbie Robertson that I had sold all of my band albums, and this was the only thing that I could post with Robbie Robertson on it. Of course, I get up this morning and see, I expected it. At least a couple people saying, "What'd you do that for? What'd you sell the band for?" And I explained, I'm tired of that sound. I don't like listening to that stuff. I can play it, and being a musician from the going back that way far, I played band songs like The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down. I don't know if they wrote that. Maybe they didn't, but I always think of their version, as well as Joan Baez's. Up on Cripple Creek, that's funky. And so I enjoyed that about it, you know. But I got tired of it pretty quick, too. So that's what I got to say about those folks. Rest in peace. Oh, this is, I finally got it. I used to have it on CD, but I never had it on vinyl. When I picked up the Jon Hassell, a couple things, but let me get this first. My mind spins. Steve Hillage's first solo album, Fish Rising. I never had it on vinyl. I had a CD. Well, I do still have the CD. This was in the used section. I said, by golly, there it is. And I still enjoy this very much. Very much. But the other nice thing about going down to Grapefruit yesterday was that they got a hold of me. Actually, before they let me know about my special order, they said, "Hey, do you have copies of your new CD with Brian Day, Woven Territories?" We had a customer ask about it, and I realized we don't have it. Can we get it? Can we get some copies? So there are copies available now at Grapefruit Records in Omaha for your Omahans, and at Homer's if they have any left at Homer's. They're available there now. So today will be a little bit different. This evening, I am participating in Omaha's Show Wagon program for kids, and tonight they're having a battle of the bands, and I'm one of the judges. I'm looking forward to it. It's a paid thing. I'm getting paid to do this, which I'm happy about as well. But I'm looking forward to this. You know, get to participate in this community activity and see what's going on with some of these kids. There will be a total of 8 acts, 8 bands that are playing down at the Eugene Leahy Mall. I think they still call it that now. It's been completely remodeled. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Hope to see some good talent. One of the other judges besides me today is Megan Sybee of the band Cursive. It'll be good to see her. I've worked with her before. Haven't talked to her in a while, so it'll be fun to share this experience with her and see what these kids are up to musically. Hello, family. Hey, hope everything is good out there in California. Boy, this weather, boy, this heat, boy, Hawaii, wow, what can you say? What can you say? What can you say except climate change is real? And I keep saying it because I'm looking for a wake up on the part of governments, you know, that we better start doing some modifications here. It's not happening. So as a result, you know, for the near future, the effects of climate change are going to just ratchet up and be more devastating. I just see it and say it. It's kind of like if I was in any position of power, I would be trying to knock heads and say, hey guys, we got to stop talking about the money and talk about life. That brawl on the riverfront or wherever that was, where the guy got jumped who was trying to move a boat, just doing his job. In the news, what's one of the first things that they talk about is, well, we don't think it's going to impact tourism. Like, that's the most important thing, the money. When you see people going at each other like wild animals, and why aren't we concerned about that? That we really need to raise the bar, but it just keeps getting lower. That's why I talk about these things, observations and wondering where. It's just, to me, it's just, wow. Everybody's out to lunch, chasing that money. Weird to me. Okay. Have a good day. Oh, one more thing, see, because I do like sharing this stuff. It's also documentation, sharing my life stuff with you. This is also documentation. Something else I want to share about the movies I did. The movie April Showers, that was a real experience. Tom Arnold was one of the name actors in the movie, as well as Ileana Douglas. But I don't mind saying this publicly because it's the truth. When Tom came onto the set, came in town to do his part, this was when he was touting his sobriety. That was a fucking lie. So I had to go and meet him once he got in from the airport. He pulled it together for the shoot. But when he got there, Tom, if you happen to see this, I ain't lying, okay? He could barely talk. He was so messed up and sobered up. It took a few days. But even then, I had to get on him, and I ended up being his counselor. While he was here, we would have sessions in his trailer because he was going through shit. Now, he did a good job on the movie, but I had to do a lot more than be the wardrobe supervisor on that movie. The kids, when we did we had real SWAT for the scenes of the shooting in the school. We did this in Columbus, Plattsmouth, Nebraska. And Andrew Robinson, the director, arranged with the local military police to have the SWAT do their training, and they would do it in the school, and we would shoot it. So this is going on with the kids. They know that they're extras, and then the regular actors know that what they're shooting, but the SWAT, who came in full uniforms, weapons, it was scary and very realistic. I encourage you to watch all of these movies I made, but April Showers and Lovely Still are the best of them. But afterwards, many kids were traumatized, and we had to set up an emergency counseling section for kids who they weren't expecting that. We had to call parents. I literally, because of my mental health background, led the team, as it were. I can't think of the term that you call it, where you have to set up this emergency situation to deal with trauma. It was quite an experience, and frankly, it bonded me with some of those people, seemingly for life. Like when I go out to like Summer Arts Festival or go shopping where I don't usually shop, I inadvertently run into people who were in the movie as kids, and they come up to me, and it's so cool. It's so cool. So, just some more background. I love sharing this stuff with you folks. Okay, people, let me be quiet. Have a good day. Let me know what's going on with you all.